I think there's a lot of good reasons to be hopeful, but I think there's also reasons to be cautious about the progress made especially under the Global Climate Action Agenda. I think the important thing overall about the agenda is that it brings together, much needed coordination and structure to what was really a very kind of fragmented landscape of hundreds of voluntary climate initiatives. We know this because Sandra and I, we've also been working with the data on this as well. So, and I think having this kind of like 6 axes and 30 objectives with kind of a shared scorecard, as also was called kind of a part of an orchestrated symphony. I think it's really important that it improves transparency, coherence, and comparability in non-state action. There was also the 5-year vision set out to continue kind of a revised action agenda. And I think it's really important that the idea was to have kind of annual reviews to track progress towards the key objectives, as well as having a broader review of the priorities after the second Global Stocktake, 2028. I think in several domains there was progress. So I think especially forests and nature, adaptation, resilience, on some social dimensions, perhaps health, justice, just transition issues. I think they've gained prominence under COP30. And I think the Global Climate Action Agenda kind of highlights progress and scaling of some breakthroughs on forest finance, for instance. So mechanisms like the Tropical Forests Forever facility were launched to financially reward forest conservation. So this kind of like non-state, non-national pledge mechanisms kind of really leans in onto this action agenda ecosystem. And the summit also birthed the Just Transition Work Program, so a framework for adaptation tracking with new global adaptation indicators, and a global implementation accelerator aimed at helping countries and subnational actors scale up their plans. I think the fact that non-state actors, so indigenous groups, civil society, cities, businesses, are explicitly included and encouraged, along with subnational governments as well. I think that suggests that this kind of action agenda is positive and given kind of a clear home for them, perhaps in this climate governance architecture. And some statements, I think, from the presidency of the COP30 especially, I think they argue that this kind of emissions curve is being bent downwards. I think that's an important signal here. So there's some mitigation progress taking place. But I think, even though I think the agenda has potential to convert symbolic commitments to real-world impact, I think there are some issues that could be kind of brought out as well. And I think one of the things, and this is something we can all kind of discuss, so obviously, is I think that the voluntary action still seems to kind of remain adjacent to, rather than being embedded within treaty outcomes. So there's kind of, there's a kind of an aim to have accountability through reporting. The risk of greenwashing or selective reporting still remains. We don't have like a fully institutionalized accountability architecture yet. So reporting is like more normalized, but there's still issues of like non-standardization across sectors. It's not always universally quantitative and not integrated into the global stocktake cycles necessarily, perhaps.